Show me the crypto. Show me the crypto. Show me the crypto.
In a world on the brink of disruption, two men will bring you clarity by interviewing some of the most intelligent and influential names in the blockchain world. Welcome to Show Me the Crypto with your hosts, Wade Patterson and Ulf Lonergan.
Well, hi there and welcome to Show Me the Crypto. My name is Wade Patterson.
And I'm Ulf Lonergan.
We're a couple of friends from Canada who love learning about cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, and we're happy you're along for the ride. Whether you're a crypto virgin or you know your way around the block, we hope our interviews with some of the most intelligent and influential people in the blockchain space help deliver you with value. And on this episode, we're joined by Sophia Pervez, co-founder of Superfandom, which is a digital platform that allows creators, influencers, and celebrities to issue utility-filled NFTs to their biggest fans, which often includes real-world experiences. A former IBM engineer, Sophia is passionate about connecting creators and their fans in meaningful ways via NFT technology. Sophia, welcome to Show Me the Crypto.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you. We were chatting before we hit record here. Ulf and I are usually in the same room. He's out of town. I've got COVID, so I apologize to our audience for my nasally voice, but we're going to get through this. It's going to be a great conversation. And I mentioned briefly in the bio there that your background involved being an engineer for IBM, but can you kind of walk our audience through a little bit deeper, like what specifically was your pre-crypto background? And then at what point did you discover cryptocurrencies?
Sure. So basically, I've done my bachelor's in telecom engineering. That was my area of focus. When I worked with IBM, I was a business analyst. Then I actually did a startup before this as well, which worked in the space of connecting the unconnected, or rather bringing digital literacy to all kinds of people who are not that well connected with the internet. That pretty much was about, simplifying the UI of the internet to help digitally illiterate people understand how to use the internet and kind of improve their standard of living through it. At that point in time, that startup was doing pretty great, but then we kind of discovered NFTs. The use cases, even right now, are pretty simple. We were discussing amongst ourselves that, there's just so much that can be done in this space. And that's when we decided to, jump in and try this out.
So you mentioned you discovered NFTs. When was that? Like, what was your first NFT discovery? And then further to that, what was the first NFT that you purchased or minted?
Okay, so the NFTs which I've purchased have been very, vanilla. They're not going to be any, Bored Apes in there, but like I said, we saw NFTs. I did not buy an NFT for a very long time. I was like, these are just JPEG NFTs. I understand, the place is exploding, but I was very skeptical about it at first, frankly speaking, because like you mentioned in your intro about Superfandom is all about NFTs, which come with utility. And actually the thing that, really caught our attention was that the underlying NFT technology is pretty awesome. However, right now it's being used for very simple use cases like PFPs and just kind of flexing, right? So we thought that we can dive into the space, bring some more value to NFTs. And that's kind of what was the philosophy behind bringing the project alive.
I want to go back to something you mentioned previously, which I find really interesting, which is helping with digital literacy and helping those who don't maybe have that access. So was that more people in certain areas of the world, globally? Like who specifically were you working with? Okay.
Yeah, we were working with developing countries, and actually we were partnered with Facebook's internet.org. So kind of to, bring our area of focus was kind of simplifying the UI to make the internet more understandable. And that kind of ties into what we're trying to do here with Superfandom. We're huge advocates of bringing NFTs to, the mainstream audience. And we kind of see that, why is adoption still so low is because NFTs, buying NFTs is kind of complicated, setting up your wallet, crypto and all of that. People just don't really want to dive into that. So we feel that kind of simplifying the process and bringing more understanding to the space is what's going to help NFT adoption get into the mainstream.
And so in regards to sort of bringing NFT to the mainstream, I guess I was going to say, how does super fandom help with that? But even a better question, maybe if we start, jump back further, is, what is super fandom? Can you give the sort of elevator pitch and explain to the audience, what super fandom is, and then get into that second part of the question around, how it helps with NFT adoption and making things simpler for the users?
For sure. I think Wei did a great job describing the project, but I'll give it my shot as well. Basically, Super Fandom is a platform where creators of any genre can create NFTs, which come with some unique experiences for the NFT buyers. So you can call them experiential NFTs. And why we came up with this was that right now, NFTs as they exist, they have a lot of meaning for, visual artists or digital artists. But what if you're a actor, a musician, a chef, a makeup artist? How do you bring value to your audience through NFTs? So what fans of such creators want is some actual meaningful experience with them. If you just offer them a JPEG as an NFT, that's not going to, bring them much value or interest. And that's why those kind of projects kind of do look like, cash grabs that, okay, I bought this NFT that represents you, but what's the value that I get from it, from being a fan? So, that's how we kind of built this platform, that these are NFTs that come with some unique experiences. They can be real life experiences, or they can be digital virtual experiences, and kind of like a new way to connect fans and, creators. So that's pretty much Super Fandom.
There's a couple things that have come up in the last 2 years, and I'm wondering if you drew a bit of inspiration from this. So the first one that comes to mind was in early COVID. There was something called the All In campaign or something like that, where it was raising money for charity. And a lot of celebrities were getting involved with kind of what you're saying with this concept of these experiences, right? And to be honest, I don't know. I haven't followed it close enough to know if these have actually happened, because we've kind of been in this COVID period. I mean, the fact I have it right now, we've been in it for the last 2 years. And so I don't know like when those experiences will happen, but people did put through an online auction, they tried to get these experiences. And then another example, and I think I've heard you mention this on another podcast, but with Gary Vaynerchuk and the VeeFriends NFT concept, and how he has certain ones like Hangout Hawk, for example, where that is an NFT with some utility where you can actually spend some time with Gary himself. So I'm wondering, were those some of the things that you drew inspiration from, or is what you're doing kind of a different approach from what those are doing?
That's a really good question, because just yesterday I was talking to my co-founder that, when we were coming up with this idea, I remember, surfing my Instagram and I saw Gary Vee's post where he was announcing VeeFriends, and I'm like, oh my God, that is so similar to what we want to do. And he was thankfully doing it for his fans at that time. And we thought, okay, but this is kind of, like validation that, what we're trying to do actually is validated. And of course, VeeFriends has done exceptionally well. And I think all creators should, try something out like that. Mainstream artists are usually the people who actually, bring any kind of product to the limelight, right? And make everybody take notice of it. So right now we're working with some prominent, celebrities from, all kinds of genres. And we feel that this way, when they're creating NFTs, which bring actual value to their audience, the whole, people are going to start noticing NFTs as something that have actual, utility, real life utility, or utility in the metaverse, and kind of start adopting and using them. Right now, to be honest, one of our celebrities announced his NFTs, and he got quite some shade for that. And, you've seen that with a lot of celebrities who announced their NFTs, because the main impression that people have is that this is just a quick cash grab, or this is just, a way of making quick money. There's no commitment. However, when he announced that, these NFTs actually come with some unique experiences, you get to play golf with me, blah, blah, blah. Then the response was very different. It was very welcoming. It was like, oh, so he's actually putting in his time and effort and, actually connecting with his audience. So that's kind of like something more authentic to the mainstream audience, basically.
I guess, like as a follow-up to that, I'm curious how, like in the scenario you just explained, originally the understanding of the NFT and the experience that come with it didn't come through. Is there something that the NFT creators, those who are providing the experiences, is there something they need to be doing, sort of like a process they need to be following to ensure that their NFTs are being perceived the right way from the get-go? And is that something Superfandom helps with from a promotional standpoint?
For sure. Actually, we provide a kind of like a concierge service to any creator, starting from, the concept of what your NFT should be, the art, the marketing, and, then the auction. And so basically what that artist did was he just put out a very basic post saying, I'm dropping my NFTs. But, we kind of help with that the message that you want to get out is these NFTs come with some unique experiences. I'm going to use these to actually connect with you guys, stuff like that. So the message needs to be kind of authentic, not like, just, here are my NFTs, go buy them.
Right.
So let's get into, let's name drop some of these artists, because there are some big notable names who are part of Superfandom, or at least listed as coming soon on the website. And I'm curious, two things, like who are these people? And the second is, how did you get connected? Because I'm guessing it's not easy to give Lindsay Lohan a call and say, hey, do you want to come join our platform? But where did that connection take place?
So it's been a couple of things, using my own network for sure. There are talent agencies that you can reach out to. There's quite a kind of like a longer route. Some celebrities actually respond directly if you message them on their Instagrams even. And kind of, I've been through the whole process of refining how I approach them, the kind of, key points that I should mention that catch their attention and stuff like that. So, I know people now in the talent agencies and record label companies, which I can reach out to. Still, the conversation with Lindsay started a long time ago. It was a year coming. It was a whole year. And we talked about it. She was very interested in not just, she's been active in the NFT space, you must know that. But this whole concept of experiential NFTs kind of really, interested her. And so she's not just, one of our clients, she's also on our advisory board. So she's really interested in the project. And so one after the other, the ball starts rolling. Usually the response from people is that, okay, is anyone else doing it? What are they doing? And then, they need kind of that validation that, okay, other celebrities are doing this, other stars are doing this, and then it's easier to bring them on board. But we started off with very small local talent and kind of rolled it from there. Yeah.
I want to take a step away from the sort of creator and experience side of things just for a moment to talk about the technology. As far as I understand, this is integrated with the Stacks blockchain. As someone who's not very familiar with Stacks blockchain, and presumably, there's lots of our audience who isn't either. Can you explain why that, how that works? What are the benefits of that blockchain? Why did you decide to integrate with that?
For sure. And just a disclaimer, I'm not the tech person to give you the whole detailed answer for that, but I'll tell you why we, what basically Stacks is. Stacks is like a wrapper around Bitcoin, and basically it works with, settling all your data on the Bitcoin blockchain. And why we chose Stacks to work with was that, Bitcoin NFTs, 99% of the NFT projects that you hear about are on the Ethereum blockchain or Solana or something like that. And Bitcoin is a completely untapped territory. It's like a blue ocean right now. And that being said, Bitcoin is kind of like, the most stable and most trusted blockchain out there as well. Not to say anything bad about others, but yeah, it's like it's synonymous with cryptocurrency. So yeah, we definitely wanted to explore that. It's been something that's been of interest to celebrities that we reach out to. That okay, Bitcoin NFTs, that sounds very interesting. And we're pretty excited about that, actually, building on stacks.
So does that mean, sorry, that when you, like, let's say someone is selling one of the NFTs that they've purchased through Superfandom and they're selling it on the secondary market, is the underlying currency Bitcoin? Is that kind of, the main factor for those who are buying and selling these NFTs?
So right now we're integrated with Coinbase, and you also have fiat payment. So you can pay with,
Okay.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, stacks, anything like that. Yeah.
So I think one of the big questions that comes to mind potentially for somebody who's listening to this is why does it need to be an NFT? And so, you think about something like Cameo, that is a service where people are connecting with creators who are providing an experience or like specifically a video message, but that's all without NFT technology. So why did your team feel that this is important to integrate NFTs?
For sure. That's a really good question. So when you talk of Cameo basically specializes in like pre-recorded messages or like video calls. The experiences that we're offering through Superfandom go anywhere from, there's an artist who's offering to go skydiving with you. There's someone who's doing karaoke with you. There's a music artist who's offering lifetime tickets as NFTs to his concerts from now on. So, there are a lot of different experiences that are being offered. And secondly, why we think that, NFTs is a great way of doing this is that we feel that NFTs are kind of like, a great mechanism to directly connect with your audience and kind of cut out the middleman. And the other thing about this is that when you buy an NFT of someone, you look up to some star, you kind of become able to monetize being a fan. And how do you do that is that, you own this asset that represents that celebrity or artist. And when he does better in his career or his NFTs become more popular, you can sell that NFT and actually make a profit out of being a fan of that celebrity, right? So it's kind of like a win-win for the fan as well as the creator.
I saw on the website, just reading through some of the frequently asked questions, that so some of the experience, I don't know if this is how they all work, but my understanding of at least some of them is that they're single uses, right? So you buy the NFT and the experience is, XYZ, have a barbecue with one of the celebrities you bought the NFT from. And so let's say you buy it, it's one-time use. So I go use that experience, have a great time. I get to meet the person I wanted to meet, and we have our barbecue. And then, as I understand it, there's a secondary market. So this is sort of where, to your, the example you just provided. So let's say let's say they're an actor and their stock goes up in value. They're getting more popular, and I can sell that NFT. But at the same time, if I've already used my experience, with that NFT, and I'm able to sell it, at the same time, I might just want to sell it right away. I've already used my experience. Why am I holding on to this? Let's go see who else wants to buy it. Is there complexities that come about with this sort of model where the NFT value becomes consumed, at least for the current owner, and then future owners can still, it sort of like renews itself? I haven't seen that type of a situation with an NFT before.
For sure. That's a great question. So the NFTs usually come with multiple experiences. So for example, if you're talking about, doing a barbecue with someone, then that would be like 5 times. You can have a barbecue with him 5 times or something like that. But we're experimenting with different kind of models. So there are NFTs which come with, up to 5-time redemptions. There are NFTs that come with time limits and that all depends on, the artist or the creator, that how he wants to give redemptions. We have someone who said that, okay, I can redeem this NFT as many times as it's sold for the next 2 years, right? And then there's someone who says that I can only do this 5 times. And then there are NFTs whose experience kind of lives on. For example, if you join if the NFT is access to, his exclusive NFT community, then that kind of lives on forever. Or, lifetime tickets, that lives on forever. So the redemption is still there. But yeah, as you mentioned that, some do expire, their experiences do expire. And then the value of the NFT remains in just, the token left behind.
Ulf, do you realize our audience has been either watching or listening to this episode for 20 minutes?
20 minutes? No, they should probably subscribe.
Yeah, they should subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you comment and turn on notifications. And if you're listening to this podcast, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating and a review.
We're also on Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. So go check out the episode description. You can find all that information below. And we have an update on the NFT, don't we?
That's right. We didn't previously mention this, but this NFT for our OG supporter is a one of one. There will only be one of this kind ever minted, and we have a few surprises for the person who purchases it. The link is in the episode description.
And back to the episode.
So one thing I'm wondering about is how do you keep the personalities or the celebrities accountable to whatever their NFT says that they're going to do? So if somebody has this experience and then somebody buys the token and then that person is having trouble connecting with said celebrity to have that experience go through, does Superfandom have some ownership in making the celebrities accountable?
Yeah. For one thing, we have a signed contract, which kind of binds them to, honor their experiences. And also we're thinking about kind of keeping back a bit of the payment of the NFT, the price of the NFT till the redemptions have happened. So we're experimenting with that, but we do have some, signed contracts. But to start off, we prefer working with people who, are very excited about the NFT space, who, are dedicated to interacting with their fans, and we don't see any kind of, flaky behavior in them that, they're just going to sell the NFTs and just pull out and be gone. So that's the starting point, that we do kind of dig out people who we feel that will honor the experiences for sure. And of course, being famous personalities, they do not want any kind of bad publicity like that, oh, this person sold his NFTs, he's kind of disappeared on the experiences. So that's something that they need to take care of on their end as well. But we do bind them by contract, and we're thinking about keeping some of the payment till the redemptions happen.
Yeah, obviously, they have their own reputation to consider, but there still is that sort of trust factor. And I think it's interesting with NFTs that have experiences attached to them as part of their utility, because it does instantly increase the value of that NFT significantly, at the same time where a lot of what is important in the world of crypto to people is the fact that it's trustless, right? You can buy crypto and that you don't have to trust someone for it to be worth something. And it becomes this whole different scenario when you go down the NFT route with experiences. But I also think that's the interesting part of this, that is pushing maybe the boundaries down a certain direction that need to be solved too. It's a whole nother way to utilize NFTs. But my question in regards to these experiences is going back a little bit to what we just talked about around the options that the creators have. So let's say, you gave some examples like number of times that the NFT can be used. You said there's like time limits on some of them. And I was thinking about how, those different factors can greatly change the NFT itself and what you can get out of it. And so is there going to be, I presume it's still very experimental right now, and creators can probably choose their own options when they're creating the NFTs, but through Superfandom, is it experimental right now, and they can kind of come up with how they want to use it and how they want to create those experiences and what limitations they have? Or is it quite rigid, and it's like you either get a time-based option or you get a number of uses option, or how does that kind of work right now?
No, So yeah, we definitely work with the artists very closely to see what they're comfortable with and what they can actually offer and redeem. Not cutting into their schedule that much, and something they can do easily. And that totally depends with them. Depends on them that how they want to do it. Someone, if he prefers a time limit, we can put a time limit. If he prefers number of redemptions, and of course, there are artists who prefer, really, high interaction kind of experiences. And then there's a lot who do not want to interact that much. Like they want to keep very low interaction, maybe like something virtual, or like, get them to be part of your NFT community or something like that on Discord or something. So it all depends on, the artists, the creators, that what they're comfortable with. There's definitely no, we're not rigid about anything. The whole reason behind the concierge service is that we want to help them figure out what's the best kind of NFT drop for them, and we definitely don't impose anything on them.
What's your process for vetting the level of creator? So, for example, Ulf and I only have 2,000 YouTube subscribers, but what if we're like, we want our own NFT on Superfandom, and you're like, no, guys, like you got to reach a certain level.
Oh, no.
But this is my question: is it open to like what is the range of what you would call a creator or somebody who is an influencer with? Like, is there got to be an audience number, a following number?
Is it like celebrity specific with a minimum entry?
Yeah.
No. So, as long as you have an audience that's willing to pay to interact with you, you should create your NFT drop. And that you can be a micro influencer, macro influencer, like a celebrity, something, anything like that. And that's what I was saying about, creators of any genre, is that, if you're even a fitness trainer and you're famous in your own little locality, you can just, drop your NFTs and have them connect with you through that. And we have actually creators from all kinds of, we have people with like 10K followers, or, people like Lindsay or Jubin who have like 10 to 20 million followers. So we kind of, like I said, we want mainstream adoption. We want as many people to get into creating their NFTs, and that's kind of like our mission. So yeah, we kind of encourage everyone to do it.
Nice.
And of course, in the long run, like right now, we're reaching out to people. We're getting a lot of inbound interest as well. And in the long run, we do want to kind of make Superfandom kind of a self-service portal where anyone can come and create their NFTs without the concierge service, because the concierge service doesn't really scale that well. We can do that for high profile people at the moment, but for any kind of creator, this UI needs to be simple enough, and that's where our previous experience comes in. That we kind of make the process so simple that anyone is able to drop their NFTs, and it's kind of like a one-stop shop, rather than I need to reach out to creators over here. I need artists over here. I need to go to Discord for marketing and Twitter for marketing. Kind of make it like a one-stop shop so that it's the process is very simple.
How does the secondary sales work? Like, is there a marketplace where through a website we can go to then sell the NFTs after the fact? Does that exist today, or is that a future thing?
Yeah, it's a future thing. It's in our Q4 pipeline. For the secondary market is in the Q4 pipeline, and we're already working on it. But yeah, it's going to come in the future.
That seems like, I know nothing about like the deep technical side, but that seems like a huge undertaking, like to create a whole secondary market and everything along those lines. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that quite the process to get that built?
So our tech team is amazing. I have to say that this is like the fifth or sixth product that we've built together. The products that we've built before this have like a cumulative 20 million users so far. So the tech team is pretty robust, and I have full faith in them to do it.
Awesome. So I have another question about the NFT itself. So a lot of times on the website right now, it kind of talks about it's coming soon. This experience is coming soon, and I'm wondering, is there going to be anything to the art itself? And where I'm going with this is, if I purchase an NFT where this is good until January 2023, and so I know what I'm getting in terms of the experiences and everything like that. But if I'm the holder of that NFT who gets like the last experience or the last use, and I hang on to it, is there anything there that gives it value other than maybe the memory and the token of what you did with that creator? Or is there some sort of art aspect? Or is there a potential of like delight and surprise from those creators where they may be 5 years down the road, hey, whoever happens to have this old NFT, if you're holding it right now, I'm going to do something for you. Like, is there any of that built into it?
The delight factor is definitely there. That's something that really interests us, future airdrop, stuff like that. And for sure, the art also kind of, represents the artist and also the experience. So, for example, if it's the one about, going, having a barbecue with you, then it's like that person in a barbecue setting. The NFT art kind of represents the experience as well.
And who created that, or how is that art created?
Yeah, so right now we're working with different artists, kind of in-house. But in the future, we're looking to either, add royalties for any artists who want to come on, or kind of, the artist can bring their own, the creator can bring their own artist as well. So right now it's all in-house, but we might change that model.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. It's interesting because where so many of the NFTs that exist today are about the art, or at least that's where sort of like that's the starting point. This is kind of different, where I would argue, at least with my understanding of how these work, that's kind of like it's the afterthought, or it's the nice to have, but it's not really important per se, right? It's about the experiences and what you're buying for it. So that's interesting that you provide that service as part of the, with your in-house artists. If the celebrity, they're not necessarily an artist, they don't necessarily have someone on their team to create some art for them. So yeah, that's interesting to know. So my question here is about NFTs in the future. Where do you think they're going? Does any of your thoughts around where they're going relate back to Superfandom? Would love to just hear your thoughts on where NFTs are going to go in the next, 5-10 years.
That's one of my favorite discussions, because I feel that, there are just so many applications for, NFTs. And right now we're really at, the infancy stage of it. Like, people kind of judge NFTs as just JPEGs. The mainstream audience has that opinion, but this is like, one of the most initial use cases that we're seeing, and it's going to evolve, and it's already evolving. Like, you might have heard of, Mila Kunis coming up with a show in which the NFT holders decide the plot of the show. And then Coachella had, NFT tickets. Those are lifelong tickets, and then you can resell them if you want. So many use cases are coming out. It's going to be very interesting to see. I think the current PFP projects are going to simmer down because there's already so much saturation there. And then these actual use cases where the NFTs actually provide some utility, either in the metaverse or in real life, or which are going to evolve, and we're going to see that. And the market might just fluctuate, might be up and down, the NFT market, but I think the underlying technology of NFTs ensures that NFTs as a technology is definitely here to stay.
Sophia, this has been a great conversation. We think what you're doing with Superfandom is super ambitious. We're excited to see how it plays out and the uptick. But we like to end every episode of show with the same 3 questions we ask every single guest. It's a segment that we call You Had Me at Crypto. Alf's going to ask you those questions.
All right.
Sophia, you all ready for this?
Okay, sure.
All right. The first question is, who is your favorite person to follow in the crypto space?
For sure, it's going to be Gary Vee. I followed him for a long time. I really, whatever he has ever said has always really resonated with me. I like his, philosophy about NFTs, his vision for NFTs. And yeah, I do follow him super regularly.
Awesome. All right. Second question here is our favorite price guess question. That don't worry, nobody's ever going to be right. What will the price of Bitcoin be 10 years from now?
10 years from now. So the 100K prediction is going to happen in the next few years for sure. So I would say, 150 to 200K, hopefully.
Nice. All right. You would be surprised. We've had some real crazy answers to that one.
Really?
As low as zero, as high as tens of millions. So yeah.
Yeah, 10 million. There's 3 people who have said 10 million or 10
10 million. Oh my God. Well, I hope they're right and I'm wrong.
Me
so.
too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. The third question here. What is the most underrated coin or project? Either an NFT project or anything in all of crypto?
Other than Superfandom.
Can I say Stacks? Because I do feel that, Stacks coin is going to do super well, with so much interest in Bitcoin and Stacks at the moment. I feel like it needs a lot more attention than it gets at the moment. So, yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Fantastic job. Well, thank you so much, Sophia, for joining Ulf and I on this episode of Show Me the Crypto.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I actually had a really good time talking to you guys.
Thank you for listening to Show Me the Crypto. Please make sure to subscribe as well as rate and review this podcast.